All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining the office hours. Today, I wanted to just highlight a few of the items. We didn't have office hours last week, so I wanted to highlight some of the items that went out on production last week, and then some that are going out to UAT on Friday. And then the demo that we have scheduled for today is Outreach and Partners. You can go ahead, let me go ahead and get my chat open so I can see. People are entering items in the chat. Here we go. If you have any specific items that you would like us to cover today, please go ahead and put those in the chat, or if you have any specific questions. So I'll go ahead and go over some of these items. So there we go. Sorry, trying to get my screen up here. The one of the first ones that we had is for the notification tab. Hold on, let me go ahead and get UAT up here because they usually do a push when we're doing this meeting. So I want to make sure I have one that's up, not get kicked out. Okay, so one of the things that went out to production is we recently added this notification page, and what we added was these different notification types to the export. So if you look at the export, you'll see these at the bottom. So whenever you export your information, you can include those in the export. All right. Let's see here. Sorry, I keep hearing. I think it's just the note takers that are chiming in here. All right. So the other area that was updated on the reports tab in the cohort report, we had this date range. So you can select a program. You can select like the type if you want. Let's see, and then you can select a date range. Let's see. This is test, so I'm not sure some of the recent. We'll go ahead and put this in here. So there we go. Well, of course, the date ranges I put in there, I didn't have anything. But anyway, we updated these date ranges so that you can just see let's see well, of course, I'm using test data, so I should have gone back a little bit further. Let's see, we'll go back here. Well, anyway, I should have queued up and looked at some of the cohorts ahead of time. But anyway, we updated the date range filter so that you can narrow it down to the cohorts that are upcoming. Let's see here. The next one was in the plan versus actual. We had an area where the training providers were showing up multiple times in the system. So that's been updated so that, it had one of the examples was if you had like if they said 3 people here, this was showing up 3 times in the lines. but that has been corrected and that's out on production. And let's see, some things that are getting ready to go to UAT this Friday. Let me go over to tests instead of UAT because it's not there yet. Whenever you go to a customer and they're in the pre-screening state, oh, they just did the update. So I'll have to wait just a second. I'll go to a person to show you in UAT. Go to see what we have in here. One of the things that was requested was showing the decline to participate box for the person at the pre-screening phase, and it's not going to show it up here because I'm in UAT. It'll be there on Friday, but I just want to show you where that is. It will show up in this area. So the request to, before the person is an applicant, to also include the decline to participate option right here. So that'll go out to UAT on Friday. Another thing that we've received information or tickets about is that whenever you are marking a person as complete, that it's saying that a work-based learning service is required, or there's an error because it's looking for the work-based learning requirement. And one of the updates that we've made that will be going out is that when you mark the person complete, and it'll still ask you if you, you know, if they have completed their work-based learning requirement, but it's not going to do the edit check for the, you know, for the service. So if you mark this person as complete, you pick your, you know, completion type, and then it's going to still ask you about this question right here, the 10%. And if you say yes, then it's going to just go ahead and let you move forward without doing this edit check. So that is going out as well.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you go back and repeat that step again? I was pulled away a little bit. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So right now with this step, and this is the example for the workforce hubs, but it's also impacted the climate works as well. And then uh, whenever we had added this check right here, so I can't remember, the climate works is a little bit different, but this is like 10%, the other one is, I can't remember exactly, but there's a requirement for work-based learning for that one as well. And so, you know, have they met that requirement? You say yes. And right now, what it'll do is it looks to see if this person has a specific work-based learning service in their career plan. And, you know, with the overall CEJA team, the RAs and leadership have decided that for now, we don't necessarily need this edit check to make sure that that service has been added to the career plan. So right now it's going to say, have they met the requirement, yes or no? You still have to say yes in order to be able to mark them complete, but to try not to create a lot of work for the grantees, we're not going to have this requirement here right now to check for the work-based learning service. So you still have to say yes, but you don't have to go back in and specifically add that work-based learning service in order to be able to mark that person as complete. And I think there were some people that had a work-based learning service, but I don't believe that particular ID of that service was included in the code, so it wasn't recognizing it. But with removing that edit check, it will resolve that issue as well. Just getting my chat up here. Make sure. Was there any questions related to that one? Okay, got that. Okay, hold on. I see a question there. We'll take it back to that one in just a second. Let's see here. Oh, and one thing that was happening is we had a plan versus actual report, and noticed that whenever I was working with some of the grantees, is that you would click on it, and the list that would come up, the the list was accurate, but it was like pulling the old inquiry related inquiries where the Illinois WorkNet ID was 0, and so everything was showing up as inquiry. But that has been updated. And then we had 2 hot fixes that went out. One of them was for the Workforce Hub plan versus actual. What was happening is it basically the behind the scenes, the um, um, report was like timing out, so everything was showing up as zeros. But that has been fixed, and that is out in production. And then the other one, we did have the production release on Thursday, and we had been making some updates for another CEJA program, and it, you know, went out and impacted what we were pushing out to production on that Thursday, which made it so that you couldn't add customers to CEJA, but that hotfix went out Friday night, and so you shouldn't have any trouble with adding folks now. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to look over here in the chat real quick. Those are the items that went to production and are going to UAT. Let me get this bigger. I can see the chat. All right.
Natasha, good
Yeah.
morning. This is Larry. I see a question where it says if the hub sends a navigator participant back to I'm sorry, the hub sends a navigator participant back to the navigator using the WorkNet's refer to navigator selection. Where is the referral directed? Who on the navigator team receives the referred participant?
So whenever you refer a person back to a navigator, let me find a customer. Oh, student applicant. Okay, so I'm going to go to the applicant. I'm going to go to the intake. And I'm going to go to transfer the customer to the navigator, refer to navigator, and then I pick my navigator. And so we don't have like a specific person that it's going to go to, but whenever I pick that and I submit my transfer, whoever has access at that particular level for the grantee will, they'll be able to respond to the transfer. So the transfers would show up in this transfer request for the navigators. They have access to this as well. Does that answer your question, Kevin? Lots of AI things in there, so. Okay. Well, if you
Natasha,
haven't,
thanks for
yes.
addressing that, but been working with the hub, Mantricon, and they've sent a sample test of referred to the navigators, and those individuals did not appear in our transfer folder. It's still
Can,
indicating one when they sent probably about, well, eight
okay, let
individuals.
me see here. Let me go to, can you put in the chat just like a couple of the numbers of those people, like their WorkNet IDs?
I have their names. I'm not in
Okay.
the folder
Um,
right now to pull up their numbers.
hold on, let me just worknet.com. Going over here in my other screen. Here. Do, 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 do. Um,
If you want to go on to another question, I can give you that information in a few minutes.
okay. All right. Yeah, I was just gonna go there. Well, I'm trying to get there quickly. Just want to see which one, like one sample of a customer search. Yeah, if you want to just like type the last name into the chat.
Oh, you just need the last name?
We'll start out with that. Just try not to share too much.
No. Why don't you go on to the next question? I'll go ahead and get the numbers directly for you.
Okay. Let's see here. Then, okay, this is how it looks. Yep, okay, thank you for the climate works. What other questions? I'm looking through the chat really quickly. Okay, here we go. Your question. Hold on. Okay. Can we add a new inquiry status under 30 days to the new inquiry? Oh, okay. Okay, so the question is, can we add a new inquiry status under 30 days? Sure. Right here for is less than 30 days. Is that because we want to try to, like, what's your thinking on that? I guess my question is, do we are you just trying to find like the most recent ones, or are you, just tell me a little bit about that. Like what's your thoughts on what you want to, how do you want to use it? Like okay, so the ones you want to see just uploaded. Okay. Yes. let me write that down as uh, a request. Let me see here. Taking notes on my other screen. And then I have that written down as a request, but I wanted to show you one thing too that may be helpful to you. What you can do is, hold on, do that blind search here. And then I want to do export, and what you could do, I always put these in here, but you can do customer status like as an inquiry. I mean, you can just click on customer status. And let's see here. Trying to see if we had like an inquiry, the date. Maybe that's the one that we're missing here. We have the pre-screening date. Doesn't look like we have the date added for them. So maybe that would be helpful to you as well. Pre-screening. Yep, we don't have that. So I'll add that to the export. And then hopefully that would be helpful to you too. I was thinking we had like a date added, but we have the other dates. All right. So then I'm going to say and add to export. All right. My question is twofold. Can you run us through the process for uploading a CVS for new inquiries? I'm running into a lot of error messages and I think they're related to formatting. Okay. Also, once the inquiry process is completed, is there a way to get notifications for new inquiries on? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So I guess one thing I wanted to, while we're just thinking or talking through this, less than 30 days, um, is 30 days too many days? I mean, um, I mean, I'm just asking, it should be more like, if you want to know the ones that are right away, should it be like 15 days or is 30 days the right amount? Because I guess if they're an inquiry within the last 30 days and you change them over to pre-screening, then of course they're not going to fall in that line anymore. Just your thoughts on, is 30 days the right amount for those new inquiries? Okay, so the other one is for uploading the CSV. So I'm in this. And uploading the customers. So what you can do is download one of these files. And and the file is the template. And so let me go ahead and make up the information here. So it's loaded with information, just as an example. And let's go ahead and I'll do Natasha Telg 819 27 and I'll do in Tasha Talg 819 at noemail.com. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60624. And 1-1-2-1-2-3. Okay, right now, the date of birth is required for the upload. See, so I'm going to put this person. Oops, I got to browse to get to it. Hub, Richland, and then upload. All right, let's see here. Let me go back to that spreadsheet. And we'll save that. And upload. So the error, I mean, it went through, so it may be the formatting issue. You have to use a capital IL for the state. Like I said, right now, the zip code, the date of birth is required. And here I am. Okay. Okay. Follow-up question is, so we did up. Okay, we did that one. All right. Okay, so we looked at the process for uploading a CSV. Also the inquiry process is a way to get a notification for, okay, we just did that one too. Hold on. Let's see, okay. I submitted my ticket with you. Okay, yeah. I'll have David pull that and we can take a look at that CSV. Are you, which program are you with? Just curious. Just curious. Is it the Climate Works or Workforce Hub? Okay, thank you. Yep, I'll get with David and we can take a look at that. Are there any other questions that troubleshooting?
I'm typing in some numbers in now for you.
Okay. Let me just look over in production here. Look at just see if I can see what's going on with just at least one. And then if I can see something obvious, then we'll take care of it right here. And if I can't see anything obvious, then I'll have to take it offline and, troubleshoot and then get back to you. All right. Ooh. These darn things. There we go. Copy. Paste it, the worknet ID, search. Declined. Oh, they didn't transfer them. They marked, well, let me go look at the case notes before I just say that. Transfer request on the 13th. Transfer requests from current program. I will see. I see a case note in here on the 13th. It just looks strange, and the only reason I'm wondering if maybe it's because I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done it this way, but the customer is marked declined to participate. And so I don't know if maybe that was kind of what's making things a little goofy, at least for this one person. I'll take a look at it, but that's the only thing I can just like see quickly. And I do see that looks like it was on the 13th. There was a transfer request, but it looks strange. Because it looks like on just an hour or two before that transfer request, they updated them from application to not enrolled, declined to participate. So I'll look across these numbers and see if there's something I can see that's that may be consistent across all of them, and then if we need to add in some development fixes in there to allow that specific scenario, we can do that. Oh, great. All right. Let's see, what other questions? Let me just type down these numbers real quick. And
I can send them to you in an email.
okay, I got them. But yeah, that's fine. Kevin Clark. All right. Let's see, what else do we got here? Hub here on the case you're speaking on. Can you show the process for doing a transfer back to the north? Okay. I think that, well, according to the case note, it looks like you did it right. It looks like you did it okay, but I just don't know if maybe our development, like our code, is looking for something like specific as far as like like the person has to be an applicant or pre-screening or something like that, and it doesn't know what to do if a person is marked like declined to participate and then transferring them back. Just by looking at one person, that's kind of what it makes me think. But like I said, we'll look into a little bit more. But in this example, as a test grantee from a Workforce Hub, typically what we do is we would just leave so if you have a person and they're just like declined to participate, you can mark them as just declined to participate. But typically what I've seen in the past is people leave them at this application level and then just hit transfer to a different navigator or grantee and just select refer to navigator, and then you just pick your navigator. So I think what you were doing was right. I just don't think that the code knows has like it's looking for a specific application or pre-screening or something like that, rather
Well,
than
I will say
decline to
that
participate.
the intention of the hub was to refer those individuals back to us because they weren't able to make contact with them. And so in our communication, we were then in turn going to catch up with those individuals, find out if they have a new email or phone number, and then refer them back to the hub for processing.
Yeah. So I like I said, I don't think you did anything wrong necessarily, I just think that usually I have to check into it. I just don't think it knows what to do when the person is marked declined to participate and then transferred back. Um, so like I said, it's nothing that you did necessarily wrong. It's just we didn't have that's my gut feeling is that we don't have that scenario in the
Well, some
system.
of the participants didn't decline to participate. They were just being sent back because the hub wasn't able to connect with them. So we
Mm-hmm.
sent our outreach team out to get their new information.
Okay. Yep, I'll take a look at them and we'll figure it
Okay,
out.
thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right. Uh, any other questions?
That was mine.
Uh-oh. I think somebody was trying to say something and it kind of got a little wonky there. Looking at,
Natasha, I did
yes.
see, sorry to interrupt you. I did see looks like a question here from Elsie about can you
Yeah.
walk through the step-by-step process of starting someone into the bridge? Did you see that one?
Sure. Yep, now I see it. Yep. We have a new staff on our team, Workforce Hubs. Can you walk us through step by step to start participants into the bridge? How should their program cycle look? What should it look like in online worknet? Okay, so whenever you are adding a person, let's see, what do I have here? What is this? An applicant. All right. What you'll do is let me get a different person here. Reset filters. Let's find one that's not super old. Actually, I'm going to pick one that's already enrolled so you don't have to sit there and watch me. Well, it's okay. I will do that. Let's see. Got Taco Bella. Okay, so this person, they have their pre-screening information completed. They have their application completed. Um, they should have their career assessment. We're going to pretend like they have their career assessment done and their service needs assessment done. And then they're an applicant. And you can upload the signed agreement. You could add any case notes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to their career plan. And then get these ones up. Phone UAT. I think that's what I meant. Yep. So you go to their career plan and you have this overview. And so when you add a person, it's going to pre-populate this career plan just with some kind of placeholders, starting point placeholders. So it'll be complete the training and get a job. And there's going to be a couple of services that are pre-populated. One of them is the bridge training. So from here, you can select the bridge training as one option. You could also, go through and customize some of these, the goals, or, look at additional assessments, that sort of thing, on those other tabs. But we're just going to go directly to the bridge training service. We have different services, and the bridge training and the job specific training, they use this template that has a status, the service provider, the cohort, the post assessment, and the earn credentials. So if you look at some of the other services, they might be a little bit different. But these are the things that for the training service, the bridge training, the job specific training, that are required. So the status, of course, that's status and dates are going to be required. The service provider and the cohort are all the things that you need to do to get this bridge service started. So if you had changed the goals or whatever, it's going to default to the goal that it was already under. It's going to default to planned and not started. You can put your plan date in here as far as the start date, your planned completion date. The one thing when you are doing adding the service, just know that, especially if you're, you know, getting back up to speed on, catching up on some services that were that were already completed ahead of time. I mean, in the past, but you're just trying to get caught up in the reporting system. What you need to know is your application date has to be before the first, start date, your planned start date. So you enter those, you enter the average weekly hours. And what I would do is once you enter this, I would just go directly over to the service provider, because every time you update this service, it makes you do a case note. But if you can go directly over to this next service provider tab and enter that. I'm in here with this test person, and it's going to default to, this is the grantee level, and these are the training programs that are associated with this grantee. And so I'm going to say this person is going to do the solar program. And this comes from the training programs that were entered, early on. And then I'm going to go ahead and select my cohort. So I'm going to go add cohort, and I'm just going to pick this one and then add cohort. And then I'm going to update the service. So then you go ahead and type in your case note, whatever you want that case note to be. You save the case note, add the case note, and then the service will be updated, and you'll get a message to say it was successfully updated. Now, when you are going to close out the bridge service, what you need to do is you'll need to, in order to be able to mark this as success, well, when they start it, click start, and then you can save it. And then the system will know that they're, currently in the bridge. When you get to them completing the bridge, click successful completion. You're going to put the actual completion date, and then the things that you'll need to include whenever you are marking them as complete is a post assessment. So whenever you add the post assessment, this says name, but it doesn't mean the individual's name. It means the name of the assessment. So Bridge Basics Test, whatever that is. And then, the score, and then the date, and then you can save it. And then once you do that, and you have that post assessment in here and it's higher than the passing score, then the system will let you save that person as a successful completion. And then you can also enter the credentials that were earned as being as participating in this bridge training. So we have these that are hard coded in there because they're just, standard basic ones that are used across programs. So if you click on this, you can say the type of credential, when it was completed or earned, and you can just add each of these. And as you add them, then this list will populate down here. And so this is the same basic process, whether it's a pre-apprenticeship training or a bridge training or a job-specific training. So if you had, if it was job-specific and with a service provider of this program, you had specific credentials that were associated with that particular program, those would be listed here and you could pick those as well. Okay, let's see here. Going back here. When we register a client and provide them with transportation, do we need to log that weekly? Do we have to do this in the bridge? Okay. Okay, there are two questions. When we register a client, we provide them with transportation. Do we need to log that in weekly? I would say Larry, Michelle, Nate. You see
This is the one
this
about
message. When we register a client, no, when we register a client and provide them with transportation, do we need to log that in weekly?
Yeah, I mean, I think best practice would be to enter that information kind of in the same period at which you're providing the benefit. So if it's a monthly bus pass, let's make sure we're logging, once a month. I do know that there may be situations where a grantee may be providing that transportation directly through like a leased van or something like that. So I would say same thing. If we can enter it, weekly or whatever, that would be good. But if it's the kind of scenario where, well, I don't know what the per unit cost is going to be until I know how many people I give rides to, then, I think that would be acceptable. We just want to make sure that it's in the system accurately eventually. But best practice, get it in there as soon as we can so that if and when we pull a report on what kinds of barrier reduction services are being offered, we have an accurate, up-to-date picture.
And then do we have to do the bridge trading portion as a navigator? Larry answered that. Nope, the hub grantees do that. And then let's see here. All right, so if you have any more questions, again, please feel free to add them to the chat. We'll do a real quick demo for the outreach and partners piece because that was on the list to cover. So I'll just give you the highlights of that. All right. So for outreach and partners, we have a tab here for outreach and partners. And you can select outreach, hit outreach event. If you have, you're going to be able to select from whoever you have access to. You can put the name of the event, the audience type, business or individual, the outreach type. We have like a little info bubble here. It has some descriptions. And you can select the type of that, the date, put the number of attendees in here, and then save it. And you will have your listing of outreach events. This does have an export, so you can export your listing. The one thing that we have had requests for is for an upload of outreach events, and we have that noted as an enhancement, but as of right now, we do not have the upload capability in the system for outreach right now. The next area we have is partner. So the partner is kind of like the Rolodex of different partners that are in the system, and you can search by partner. You can search by do name. You can search by specific program. You can search by types. Anyway, there's a variety of things you can search by. Then you can click to add a partner. So you put the partner name, the partner type. You can select multiple types from the list. Contact information, the industry. We have the NAICS code. This isn't required, but partner name, partner type is required. What are their interests? You have different options to choose from for what they're interested in. If they're an apprenticeship sponsor, their address, and then who they're associated with, and if you have your memorandum of understanding. And so you can add that partner. I didn't put a partner name in here. And then add the partner information. If you want to add your partner note. So you have your notes that are associated with this partner, and you'll be able to view the full list of partners, but like if you wanted to filter it down to just yours, you can select you and it will, populate the list down there. And then the contact notes is just like a summary of the different notes for the partners that you've added. Okay, so that's the quick overview of this. And this information does populate the plan versus actual in the top section. So those outreach types that were delivered, you can see them listed here and how many are of each of those, and the same with the partners. You can see the different types of partners that are available and then the counts for those different types of partners. Let's see, I don't see any other questions in the chat and we're at time. So if you have any other questions, go ahead and send them to me. Otherwise, I will follow up on, let's see here, my notes. I have to look at those partners for Kevin, and then, not partners, individuals for Kevin, and then we have the request for the inquiries so that you can easily identify the inquiries that are have been recently added. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.